You know what? Let's start our podcast. Am I right? It was mostly my idea though, so I'm kind of dragging these guys along. At least they're pretty supportive of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm glad to be invited. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, we do have other people in this thing, but as you can see, they're in the background actually. If they want to introduce themselves, they have to come up to this mic. You can't extend that far.
Hello, Spencer here.
Yeah. Uh, you three, you guys want to introduce yourselves to the channel, to the people.
So chat. So my name is Sadias. I'm one of Riley's close friends. Oh, silly. We're so chaotic. My name is Sadias. My name is Sadias. I'm known as Soda. And hey, we're having a blast in this channel. So we make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell, and let's get the party started. Come on.
Yes. So, one of our viewers asked on social media, um, why did we start, or why is the name of the podcast channel called 120 Magnified? Okay. Obviously, these guys didn't know that it was the name of that podcast. I was the one that named it, and I'll tell you the reason why. But I'll let these guys talk first.
My guess as to why it's 120 magnified is because most video games have the max FOV is 120, so you're zooming out, and magnified is you're zooming in. So you see everything in depth all at once.
Well spoken.
Uh, to be quite honest, that was the first time I've heard of the name. But 120 magnified rolls off the tongue, really. Um, I think it was just to really get people involved.
No, but you don't know.
Yeah, close. It sounds like 180, which could be 180 degrees. But that's my guess.
That's good. Yeah, good. Which grades? Yeah, so I'll tell you the reason why. I can't flip to the page right now exactly at the moment, but the reason why I named this broadcast, like I said, it is it is my idea. I'm kind of bringing my friends along to it, and they probably won't care about this in a decade from now, but we're still here. I named it 120 Magnified because in the Bible there's a book, the book of Philippians, okay? Philippians chapter 1, verse 20. No, we should be good. We should be, oh, there we go. Philippians 120. And it states, as it is my eager expectation and hope that I will not make it be all ashamed, but that okay, so I just realized, okay, this is kind of messed up. I just realized that with the version I'm reading, the Bible, the biblical version I'm reading, the English Standard Version, it doesn't have the diction that I was looking for. Philippians 120 in a different translation besides the ESV, it uses the word magnified. Now, the reason why, so Philippians 120, it's where I get 120 from, and magnified is like, if you define it, it's kind of like looking into, right? Magnifying, making something bigger. Exploring a topic is where I'm getting at, and basically, this podcast is here to inspiration.
I'd like to Okay, what's up, guys? So my name is Sadias, and so recently I've been kind of into this concept in psychology where you know there's a certain age for everything, correct? And psychology what depicts that well tells us that well your teenage years they set the foundation for your whole life,
Okay.
correct? And so this like margin of time, correct? While it's short, it has a big impact on your other certain aspects of life, correct? And so I want to really find out how truly can you like this aspect. Okay, it can be really interrupted by a lot of things, and how can we like make sure to keep it uninterrupted and make the flow go smooth as possible. Yeah.
You see, that was kind of the introduction. It was an overview of what he was just bringing us into, immersing this. I don't even want to call it a podcast per se. I really want to call it a conversation between you and me, right? Us and the viewers. So, like that, for example, right? Just off the rip, off the cuff, nothing really scripted, right? We want a raw, general feel of like yes, it's gonna feel a bit unconventional, and yes, this camera angle is pretty bad. It's pretty awkward. But what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that we are here to magnify, to dive deeper into some philosophy and anything in general, right? The eugenics of not eugenics, the encyclopedia of the world, kind of thinking of like you can go at this point, or you can talk about this and that, and why does it happen, and how will it affect us?
So 120 FOV. So looking at everything 120 FOV and magnifying into everything.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I'm glad we're gonna have a lot of conversations of philosophy and psychology and
Yeah.
anything that we do talk about, it's gonna definitely be in depth and we're gonna think about it a lot and make sure we do our research for it. And so do you have any ideas to start us off?
Yeah. Um, I guess this kind of comes back to again answering that question, like why do we make this podcast? And it's because within our friend group, I obviously can tell that we're great pals. All of us here know each other differently and also respectfully, and also we all kind of love each other. Um, the reason why I thought of this podcast, this idea of making a podcast, is because we ask ourselves a lot of questions in a very um non-professional manner. What I mean by that is we literally ask hard-hitting questions, life-altering questions on a random Thursday night in a group chat.
That's so real, man. That's so real.
Yeah, like a recent conversation me and Riley had was do we have free will?
Mm.
And I was arguing that we do not, and Riley was arguing that we do. And then, this is super debated. There's no like definitive answer. But that's just an example of some of the things we talk about. So do we want to talk about that or do you want to keep introducing?
Yeah, we could. So that you have anything to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
So I just want to say, so as you guys know, there is there's arguments such as um free will, correct? And these ones they carry a very heavy connotation to them, right? And although we are also talking about those, we are also talking about other things like for instance, there's this topic in my mind recently that has intrigued me, right? It's basically talking about how something simple, trust. How do we measure this thing? Like, it's correct. Somebody can like trust their neighbor, correct? Like, hey man, like something simple. Can I borrow your car or your laundry mat or something, right? Your laundry. Or we can go in details such as telling a secret, right? And there is different aspects to it. There's one thing that really like heavily impacts this thing is, and there's a question that brought up when we talk about this topic: which friend do I really trust? Like, what's the thing that differentiates between these two friends or these two members, these two individuals? Um, and so I asked my mom about this. My mom says that although like people can change, right? But there are some people that think don't believe in that. They think that if somebody breaks their trust, it's so difficult. It's almost impossible to get their trust back. And it's really like it's surprising to me. It's like such a marvelous, such a in-depth thing that it's like so undersurface. Like it's so underrated, and I'm looking forward to know more about this.
Thank you so much. As you can tell, we are all very educated young men, right? We will definitely get to that after we talk about this first topic to kind of pilot this whole series, right? To introduce them into um the tone of things. So yeah, you can start us off with the free will.
the free will. I was hoping, do we want to talk about free will or trust? It's up to you.
It's about free will.
Is
Talk
it
about
okay
free
if
will?
we talk about trust?
Well, I
Right.
feel like
I mean, I kind of want to talk
free
about
will.
trust.
Yeah, see, free will. I feel like it goes.
Actually,
Okay,
let's switch our heads.
so starting off the podcast, I feel like trust builds a foundation for other things. I feel like free will is has a really it's more controversial, if
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, and I feel like trust is a more easier way to get the podcast flowing. So
So let's talk about trust.
So let's
Perfect.
talk trust.
Okay. Going off what Sadias was saying, I think you got to look at it like you can't really put a number or like a scale on love. Like when you love someone, you don't love them this much, you don't love them that much. You don't put a number on it. It's just something It's unspoken. And I feel the same way of trust. Like, of course, I'm gonna trust my family more than I trust a stranger I met on the street. But there's always gonna be a level to it that I think is difficult to define in words. It's more of a feeling, like of looking at a stranger. It comes from how you view that person. So if I see a stranger and he's well dressed, he looks professional, probably a businessman, I'm gonna trust that man more than I'm gonna trust maybe someone that looks like they're doing drugs.
Mhm.
So I think it's about the judgments we make in our head and what we think will give us a good reward to trust and a bad reward to trust. And then that's how we create it in our minds.
Yeah.
I have something to say. So from what so we all know that we all judge somebody based on our past experiences, correct? And I mean, yeah. And so from what Damien said, yeah, if we in public, if we see somebody well dressed, combed hair, we have this tendency to put more trust on them compared to somebody, let's say, not as well dressed, correct? And I feel like there's also this other thing that alters there's this other element to it that is really place and like the environment that it surrounds us, correct? So we all know the basic nature versus nurture debate, correct? We want to get in depth with that later on, but right now I want to talk about how place really shapes what we think and how we judge something. So would you guys say that if somebody was born in a nice, well-fed family, let's say in Netherlands, for instance, right? Netherlands has tendency, and let's compare that. Let's have a contrast with that with somebody who was born in, let's say, perchance Bolivia, Bolivia, or yeah, Bolivia. Let's say Bolivia is not as much like the economy, and
It's a developed country.
yes, it's a lower level country if you want to put a measurement into it. And so, I feel like person in Bolivia would not as much like judge somebody based on clothes, correct? Because
Yeah.
they're just used to their environment. They see everybody, and so how is it so easy for them to trust somebody with lower status than somebody with more economic strength and more freedom, economic economic freedom. Sorry, not freedom.
Yeah, I have a perfect answer for this. It's the associations that we make in our brain from the environment in which we were grown. So, take for example the person from Netherlands. They associate a normal person as someone that's well dressed. But the people from Bolivia, not everyone is well dressed. Everyone is dressed in, maybe some ragged clothes, but they still associate those people in their minds as normal people. So it all comes down to your associations that were created in your mind as you were raised. It's kind of like the nature versus nurture. If you were nurtured to think that someone in bad clothes is a bad person, then of course you're going to associate someone in bad clothes as a bad person.
Indeed, yeah.
So it's about the way you're raised, and those different associations create your perspective of the world.
Mm. See, from what Damien, I'm trying to continue. So
Aim.
yes, right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know that for people in Bolivia, perchance, it's easier for them to like, well, it's a different element to it for them to that they use to judge somebody, and it's definitely not clothes. Not as much compared to people in Netherlands. So if it's not clothes, what really is it? What is the element that they use in order to judge somebody? Spencer, would you have any opinion on this? So, would you like to? Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're okay. So we have our guest Spencer Frankel, and
Spencer Frankel here.
we have Mr.
No wilting.
Okay,
Okay, hold on, guys. I
yeah,
gotta tell you,
go ahead.
the way these mics work, this it only this half is actually a mic where the green light is. So when you look over there, see how that wasn't here, and then I do you see how much louder that is?
Yeah, I see that.
So just talk into the screen because that's the way these mics work. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're kind of talking about how what creates the judgments of trust. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
What creates the judgments of trust, and like why do people that are rich have different judgments than create different judgments and have different levels of trust with people compared to people that grew up poor, like in Bolivia? Is that what you're saying?
Indeed, yeah, that's
Okay.
what. Yeah, no words.
Yeah. Well, to that, I just have a few questions. Like, how do you define trust, and how, like, where's the difference that you're saying? Where's the difference that you're seeing from the people in Bolivia to the people, I don't know, say Los Angeles that are billionaires? You know what I mean? What is the signifying uh, difference?
So from how I define trust, I feel like I associate it with words such as like, let's say, affection. How much affection I have for somebody, how much caring, how much somebody, and so for this, so this contrast between people in Bolivia and the population in Netherlands, I'm saying, um, there's certain characteristics that really play a big role, and certainly one of them is how somebody's look. Somebody's well dressed, somebody's not well dressed, and I want to really get in depth. Like, first of all, how did these even form? Like, you know, like trust should be easier to form. I feel like it's easier to differentiate somebody good and bad, but these certain aspects like clothes, they can really come and they they act like a barrier for this, and it's not clear, and it's basically like it's really intriguing. Basically, what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree. Actually, I would like to say that I think trust is a root of stereotypes. I think stereotypes can defer how much we would trust a certain person based on, the examples that you used, clothing, and even the way somebody talks or puts themselves up every day. Um, I would say that all roots from a stereotype where, you know where people put people into these groups that they're not necessarily identified in, but that's how we put them in our levels of trust. That's why people who dress nice and all that, we generally associate them as like the higher class, therefore more trustworthy. Not that they are, but that's just what we've been taught.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I have one thing to say about this. So you could take this example with like homeless people. Like homeless people, they don't got like the best looking clothing. They don't look the best, but like you never know like what they're actually going through or like how they are. You know, like I once saw this clip the other day. Uh, like a woman gave like this homeless guy who she thought was homeless,
Mhm.
give him food and like even invited to the homeless person into her house because she just thought the homeless person was going through like a hard time. But it actually turned out that the homeless person wasn't even like homeless. Like it was just like it was a normal guy sitting down eating food. So like going down that with trust, it's like yeah, it's all right to be kind, but like you gotta verify first, you know. So yeah.
I liked what Noah said. I feel like trust comes from the stereotypes we associate people with. So the way I would define trust is the willingness to believe that a certain person will result in a positive outcome. So like if I ask a homeless person to hold on to $1 million, my willingness to believe that they will hold on to it is very low. But if I ask my family to, it's like 100.
I like what you mean.
So I would define it as your willingness to believe that this will result in a positive outcome from that person. That's how I would define trust.
So from what you're saying is the level of optimism that you have with
Yeah.
a certain person.
Yeah, perfect.
And from what I wanna go back to what also what Noah Wilton said. So he said that it's trust is based on the stereotypes that we associate with someone. And funny enough, there was this study that was conducted, right? Super cool, super fantastic. Like okay, so it was like these couple of psychologists, correct? And there's this term that explains it's called in-group versus out-group bias,
Okay.
right? What this bias is saying is that we have this tendency to believe that our group, let's say people who we have like certain things in common, we we tend to like trust them more and than people, let's say in the street. And funny enough, let's connect this to pool perchance, right? So we can clearly see that there's two groups, right? There's stripes and there's solids. And the game starts, correct? The game starts with somebody batting it and whatever whatever like the batting is not the word. What is it called? Breaking. Sorry, I'm new to this stuff, so I'm not that clearly well known. But so it simply starts with just breaking, right? And whichever ball goes, and you're that group, and it's so simple. Like, how can this simple thing result in group versus out group, like in this conflict between somebody? And what the psychologist, let's connect this back to the study, what they found. So there was a study that psychologists asked these participants, whoever has whoever is wearing socks is in another group, come over here, and whoever is not wearing socks, like in that day, or I think it was something like that. Let's say,
Yeah, let's stick.
yeah, and whoever's not wearing socks go in here. And what they found out is that people in the certain groups, they tend to have more trust in them, and something so simple, correct? Um, had that had that big impact on somebody, correct? And we can see these things everywhere. Let's say me and Noah. Noah's wearing a hat. I'm not wearing a hat. There's all these other people who are not wearing hats with us right now. And if we say, "Oh, Noah, go sit over there," because you're wearing a hat and we're not wearing a hat, so we go over here. And this like in group versus out group, and then uh it results in like similarities between us, that and we tend to find like things that we have different, because just because he's wearing a hat and we're not, we try to find commonality, common ground between us, while we tend to like differentiate things with him, and just based on him wearing a
Yeah, I think it's similar to tribes that we had back in early human civilization. Like, you were the exact same species as another person, but when you saw another tribe with slightly different features, you would perceive them entirely as strangers. And I think it's kind of like a similar concept here, where if you have socks on versus if you don't, you associate yourself in that group. And then, therefore, if you're part of that group, everything outside of that is perceived as a stranger. And so, therefore, you perceive your own group with more trust than you would perceive a stranger in the other group. So I feel like it's kind of in our human nature to have this bias to build connections. Now, and this also relates to racism and stuff, because racism, and not just white and black, but like against Asians and all other ethnicities and races, it's the same way that you're connected with your group, so you associate the other group as a stranger that could be a danger to you, so you try to push them away.
stranger danger. No, no. Everybody grow with that.
Yeah, that was a great joke, so nice. Yeah, I'd actually like to go back before racism, because I agree that that is a huge issue that can intertwine to this conversation that we're having. But I like to say that, like, we as humans tend to find people who are alike us, and we tend to be around people who are like us, if that makes sense. For example, if you're walking in a park with your family, say, and you need somebody to take a picture of you guys, and you have two options. You either have a homeless dude who's sitting on the ground, perfectly fine dude, and you have somebody walking their dog, say, perfectly healthy, spry, young. Statistics show that you're most likely going to choose the person who's not homeless, who's taking care of themselves, who's, you know, looks more like you and has the more commonalities with you. So my point there is that that trust is coming from, not from racism, not from stereotypical things, nothing that we really think about internally, but really just something that happens without thought.
Yeah,
Like,
it's an
it's
association. Yeah.
it's an automatic thing that we just go to the person we trust most, which most likely ends up being like the person who's most likely you, not the person who's sitting on the ground with no socks on. To say.
Spencer has no socks on, by the way.
Spencer, what you doing, man?
Yeah, actually, yeah, we don't like you. Yeah, can you show the pod? Pick your feet up, bro.
Chill, man, chill.
We'll get a close up of it.
Yeah, I liked what Noah was saying, and it goes back to what I was saying about the mental associations. Like, you associate the person walking the dog as a normal person because of how you were raised. But if you grew up homeless, surrounded by homeless people, and you knew that the homeless people weren't drug addicts all the time, you would still associate that homeless person as a human being. You wouldn't associate them as a danger, and so you probably would have asked them based on how you were raised, based on your environment, like nature versus nurture. So I think it all comes down to the associations we have in our head based on how our environment treated us.
Yeah. That just brought me back to this point.
Talk into the screen thing.
Oh, you're right. You're right. My bad. Yeah. When Damien was just saying that, also, great stuff from Noah. I wasn't really tapped in. I was in the back, actually, if you can see, if you obviously see. But anyways, as I jumped in, something in my mind, right? We were talking about the homeless and walking dog scenario, taking the picture. Basically, if someone were to grow up around homeless people, familiar with them, it's a sort of familiarity where it's like, um, man, I have no good words to say, man. But I'll just say it like this. Um, the home or you being a homeless or you being around homeless people and you have a choice between the homeless and the person walking their dog. Both are completely healthy, both are just in different living situations. You might feel unsafe and even scared to go up to and to ask the person walking the dog because you might not know how they may treat you, right? Obviously, this is kind of like a thread. It's stemming into a different conversation about like it kind of does go back to trust, like trusting who, right? Because you may feel safe. You may feel safe. What if that was your uncle that was homeless? Sure, he's homeless and he's living on the streets, but what if that was your uncle? And then what if the person walking your dog was also your uncle? So it's like, no, I mean, two different uncles, right? And let's say they both have the same criminal record, the same features. Matter of fact, let's just say they're identical twins, actually. So in this scenario, they're a same exact person, except their appearances and how they present themselves is different. Their posture of their heart. So what I'm saying is like, um, would that also become a factor where it's like you might not feel safe around safe people, or I don't even want to call it safe. You might not feel normal around normal. Sorry, I don't want to cancel. You might not feel normal around people that you don't know.
Cancel.
I'm so bad with words. I might get us canceled. I'm so sorry.
Trying to say you don't want to be around people that you don't associate as the normal people.
Someone here, I'll say it like this. Actually, I think I got the words together. So basically, yeah, more likely, more like you. I meant if you don't if you are not familiar with the customs of one's own, you might feel like it's weird of them to do that. Like, why are they on the floor? Why are they sleeping on the floor, man? Right? Let's give this homeless person on the side of the street a dog, and then you got the person walking their dog. They both have dogs. Matter of fact, make them the same breed. Matter of fact, make them the same family. Actually, surprisingly. So what I'm getting at is that, like, I'm getting emotional. Yeah. Just take.
Hey, Riley, come here, man. Okay. So I just want to elaborate on that. Hey, 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 Riley, you good, brother? Hey, you donkey, man. So, hey, boys, I have a question for y'all. Hey, Riley, take a minute, man. I know you need it. Hey, boys, I have a question for y'all. So, I feel like it's generally agreeable that we tend to be persuaded by somebody who we have trust upon, right? Somebody, exactly. And so, I really want to exemplify it. Like, let's say, for instance, somebody will dress. Let's say a salesman, right? A salesman. Maybe we have some commonality. Maybe we both watch soccer. He yeah, we both which watch soccer, and he tells me, hey, come try this soccer cleats that I got for you. Maybe you're gonna like him. And let's say another salesperson who, let's say, sorry, I was thinking about something else. We don't have that much commonalities, and I because you guys know we associate trust with something we have commonalities with. And this other salesman, he doesn't like soccer, and he said, "Hey man, come buy these cleats from me." and I tend to go with this guy. And I really want to connect trust with this other concept that I got for you guys. You guys are gonna like this. It's called central routes of persuasion and peripheral. Man, you know your stuff. Hey, Jamie knows this stuff. And so we can connect it back to trust. Can why are peripheral persuasions even a thing? Like and what peripheral persuasions are? Let me give you guys an example. It can be things as
Convincement, like do the things on it.
yeah, it can be things like just looks. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but looks has a big thing on trust and persuasion. So, and it's a study. It's a study conducted. Don't cancel me, man. Hey, it's not. Yeah. So with the way somebody looks, the way somebody talks, it's called peripheral persuasion, and we got central routes like logic based arguments. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it back. So by peripheral, it means like the things that can like persuade you that you don't notice immediately, like the looks, the way someone dresses, those subconscious stereotypes that you don't immediately notice. But the central route would be like not physically, but like actually trying, like saying, "Go outside, go do this," like logically persuading them in consciously persuading them. So think of it as conscious, subconscious. Central route would be a conscious argument that persuades you, and peripheral route would be subconscious associations that you have in your brain.
Exactly. Hey, well said, man. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Um, and so why can sub why how big really is subconscious on our conscious life? And there's this sorry guys, but there's this person. There was this psychologist guy. His name was Freud. Oh wait. Oh, Spencer. Sorry guys. Um, Spencer. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, it's time for a group hug. It was to Spencer, take five. Take five.
I'm sorry. What were you saying? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So for this essence, right? For trust. Sorry about what happened, guys. You guys had to go watch all that. Yeah, sometimes when somebody's crying, we all like hug. We're so like collective. Yeah, we're just we don't value independence in this so much. Yeah, not as much, but we do like some independence. Yeah, some independence. Yeah. So we're more generally like collective. Like if we saw somebody like crying, we all just go hug and try to get that guy into back like feeling good. So back to what we were trying to say, right? I was talking about how unconscious mind has big role on trust. And man, when we talk about subconscious, we cannot ignore this guy. This guy is all about our unconscious mind. And his name, he goes by Freud. I know. For those who know, Freud, man. Freud, he has some crazy things to say, but we take those crazy things aside and we focus on well, some more important points that he also uh has declared on us on psychology. And so I just want to say, yeah, subconscious man, peripheral things they have a big role on us, and it can be looked, it can be also it can be perceived in our society, and yeah, no, it looks like you have something to say on this.
No, it's okay.
You sure?
He's confused.
Oh, you're confused. Yeah, our subconscious man, it definitely plays a role in our trust. Um, like the way I see our boy Brian, he's he's over here. Brian, come say hi to them. Are you good, Brian? You want to say hi to him? Yeah, that's our boy Brian, and like he just subconsciously just had a seat here. Maybe he was tired. Yeah,
Yeah, we're trying to defy that. Trust that's really been. Uh,
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
are you okay, Damien? Okay, thank you.
We can't get demonetized. No
Sorry.
thanks.
Yeah, no. We're trying to defy that trust has been like really stereotyped around the world. You know, we're from all different places in the world, very different. You know, we got some guys without shoes on right now. I have a hat on, and you know, we're also different.
Come here.
He's from Moldova.
We got guys that like really.
Hey, like we got Damien from Moldova. Where are you from?
Afghanistan.
We got Sadias from Afghanistan.
Bro.
And obviously California, United States. But we're trying to defy that, and you know, really, our hugging is a way of showing that we are all one, and that we really all trust each other, no matter our differences. No matter our differences, really. Yeah, no, but bring it back to our point. I think trust is huge within us. You know, we don't really care about our differences. No,
Yeah.
no.
But the reason we don't care about our differences is because of the associations that we had when we were growing up. So what I mean is we were raised to but not judge people based on our first initial associations. But having this knowledge, it's still a form of association that we have in our head. So like if I see like a homeless person on the street, someone's first thought might be, oh, they're a bad person. But for one of us, the first thought might be, what could that person have gone through? It's still associations that we have in our brain. It's just they were nurtured towards a more positive outcome. That's why we're able to connect with each other, even though we're from different cultures and we have so many differences, is because we base our trust. I like the way Sadias put it. Our trust is based off the optimism we have in that person. And the optimism we have in that person stems from our stereotypes of that person. And we were raised on different stereotypes. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, wait. Ready? Oh yeah. Man, I just love how this podcast is going so far, man.
It's great.
Man. Um. Man.
Are you okay, man? You good?
It's funny.
We'd like to.
Yeah, I'm okay, guys. Man,
Hey, we're here for you.
how can we close this, man? How can we close this? We could, because we still got one more topic to talk about. Well, actually, we have some viewer questions. We have questions from the viewers.
Mhm.
If you guys want to answer that, I don't know. We could save that for a different day, obviously.
Let's answer them.
I can
Yeah.
look at them. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can, you know.
Yeah, it's okay. I got him. I got him right here.
Okay.
But yeah, look at this guy. Very candid, taking a photo
Oh.
for the vibes, man. I mean, it just shows how much we kind of trust each other. I think that's the name of the game, man. All right, so I'm reading these viewers' comments, and they have questions for us. So one of them asks, oh, oh yeah, right here. Yeah, so obviously, if you saw on our Twitter, we actually said, um, you know, 7 days till the podcast starts. Send any questions, philosophy, psychology, anything that you want to talk about. Okay, so yeah, they asked, how did art begin? Which is it's very deep. Obviously, they want us to dissect it, right? So, you know, obviously, I don't want to be selfish by talking about it on my own. I want everyone to have chance to talk about it. Let's go in the line, actually.
I just want to start the conversation with a question.
Okay.
Is art subjective? You got that?
Noah, you're the real art.
No.
Art is absolutely subjective. And I know this because like modern art, you know, some people actually think that modern art looks good. And like in their opinion, it honestly does. Like if you want to base it off of their opinion, modern art, yes, that looks good. But like everybody's opinion is different, of course, because like we're humans, like everybody's different, of course, right? So art, I think, is one of the things that is definitely subjective in just everything, you know?
I disagree. Okay. No. No. I think art is okay, I think art is subjective because like your up no. I think your opinion of art is subjective. But I think you can define art as anything creative and created with intention. So like I can put a banana on the wall with my intention to be showing how fruits are bad for you. I still have intention and it was still a creative way of doing it. Therefore it is art. You might not like it, you might not consider it art, but objectively, it is a form of art, even if you subjectively don't like it.
So going on from what Damien said, it's something created with an intention, right? And how I want to add on to this. I feel like art is something created that evokes an emotion. It really does. Something something created that evokes an emotion. And we can't and that kind of like not does not it kind of widens up the perspective, right? If you really think about it, everything really evokes an emotion. Richard evokes an emotion on me. I mean, he makes me happy every time I see him. Like, such a jolly guy, such a beautiful, amazing guy. Here.
Hello, bro.
Yeah, so that's a Richard. Hey, hey, you're the dog, man. All right. So what I'm trying to say is,
Bless you.
so lately,
Bless you. Bless you.
bless you. Hey, guys, say bless you in three, two, one.
We each individually first.
God bless you.
Bless you. All right, now I'll say.
Hey, viewers, let's. Hey, in three, two, one. Okay, viewers, stand up, stand up, stand up, viewers. All right, let's go. Three, two, one. Bless you. I love how we can get interactive with and break the fourth dimension. Like we're literally talking to them right now.
If you're still watching, still watching, man, drop a heart. Drop a heart if you're still watching. Sorry.
That's, bro, we're so
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
so like I can see the chemistry in the sky. Like right now, it's just connecting us together. Okay. What I was trying to say is so something that that evokes an emotion and was built with intention. So that's a group we define as. And what do you guys think? Do you guys think that artificial intelligence really creates? Is that what do we call that art? Do we call that art, guys?
I believe.
Oh no, I got something to say.
Okay.
Okay, back to my original question: is art subjective? When you ask if AI is art, in my opinion, that turns into is art subjective because that can be a debate or it can be a fact. So back to your point when you answered me, I'd like to hear your answer actually,
Oh,
or anybody's actually.
yeah, please, Damien, you wanna?
I want to say something. I think I think the way that we've defined art as a creative idea with intention made real. If if AI creates its own idea, if it creates its own art without any human influence, if no human is telling it create this, create that, then that is not art because it does not come from a conscious intention. But if a human says create this, create that, like types it into the prompt, then that is art because it's created for creative intention.
So, speaking of that, it's really intriguing for me. Something that was made with intention by something conscious. So, can we really say that if something is built by animals, is that art also? I mean, it. I mean, there's this famous short clip where an elephant was actually taught to paint something by by using his little Filtrum or whatever. I don't know what's it called. Trunk. Hey. So can we really call that art? I mean, there is no human. I mean, actually, yeah, there is human influence on teaching the elephant, but the art was created by the elephant.
Yeah.
And can we really call that art? I mean, there's no. Or we can also widen up the perspective, right? Some people. I mean, I feel like generally we can agree that nature is a big part of art. Like it influences by itself. It's an art. It's a creation. It's a creation by some matter or whatever you guys would think about that. But so can we really call nature art?
Uh, I get that you make a really good argument because, like, you know how there's like the shellfish in the ocean and they make like a pattern as they're mating. Oh, actually, an easier example. Yeah, way easier example is birds dancing. Like, is that art?
In like an organized way.
Yeah, they dance to attract their mate.
Actually, oh yeah.
You know how they do that, right? Like, would you call that art? Because dancing's still art. Because does it come there? Maybe it's not a conscious intention, but it's still a intention it's still intentional. It's not just a thing to be created. I feel like with AI, when it creates a image or a prompt that wasn't inspired by human, like a human didn't tell it to create it. It just comes from a bunch of data. It comes from data to like create a red lobster, you know? But there's no like idea behind it. There's no intention behind it. It's meaningless. It's a thing. It's created, but it has no meaning behind it. And I feel like with birds mate dancing, it's to attract a mate. With the shellfish in the sea, it's also to attract a mate. But like all of them have intention. So I think it's creativity can be defined as, or art can be defined as an idea, an intentional idea made real.
Mm. I like how you worded that. Oh, Spencer. All right, man. I really want to say, art should art can also not be associated with humans, right? I mean, you're arguing that artificial intelligence is not a form of art because it's not connected to humans, but that's true. But animals are also not associated with humans. That's indeed true. And yeah, there's an intention behind animals doing that. But what about plants? What about flowers? I mean, they don't like. In, what is
Intentional though?
what is their intention? What is? I mean, do they serve an intention?
Yeah.
Well, like, oh, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll say something. I'll
Okay.
say something. Don't worry, quick. Yeah. Um, from what I'm hearing so far, right? It's honestly a lot to keep up with, right? But what Sadice was just saying, you know, he was asking, he was proclaiming that do plants serve purpose? Kind of. Is that would that be correct? Is that how
They
you
don't serve a purpose.
is that how you would translate, reword it? Yeah. You know, and like he said earlier, from like maybe a few minutes ago, he defined art, not defined it, but he said art conveys emotion, right? Every art piece conveys emotion. Now, would you say that there's nothing in this world that isn't classified as art? Is everything in this world art?
Yeah.
Everything.
The answer is what I think. What I think. If I was in a this like life death situation, I would say yes.
And that's why it's subjective.
Why it's subjective? Yes. The life death situation, I would say is yes. But right now, I'm saying I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle because I don't want to associate something negative with art. I feel like art is beautiful to see. It's something that brings joy and positive emotions, positive connotations to me. And for this aspect, I would like to say so. So what Damien was saying is art is something that was created intentionally, right? Was is our today's society, let's say, okay, let's say how earth was really formed, and let's go back.
Okay.
Was it truly intentional? I mean, it's really in depth, like everything was everything's were flowers intention, where was rally an intention? was was rally an intention?
Yeah, I actually appreciate this conversation a lot right here that we have about art. And like, yeah, at the same time, art is intentional and unintentional. Like, I also like to like draw our attention to like the political and economic state of the world right now.
Shut up.
No.
No, please. He's just trolling. Okay. I think, as Sadaz was asking, flowers are art and they are intentional. But let's say, let's not define it as intentional because when we say intentional, we mean like we're doing it for a reason. Like well, flowers first weren't created for a reason, but they serve a reason. They serve an intention. They serve a purpose. So like, I feel like I'm gonna rechange the definition because I Sadaz made a good point. Art serves an intention. It serves a purpose. It's an idea that serves a purpose made real. Because I feel like the way intentional sounds, it sounds like you're creating it for a reason, but it could have been created for a reason. If that, I don't know if that makes sense, but
I like that.
it was already made, but now it serves a purpose. So like, let's say something was like, let's take for example like an engine. Let's say the engine was accidentally made. Someone in a lab accidentally created it. Like the engine is an art form because it's a creation, but it was accidentally made. It wasn't intentionally made. but it would still be art because it serves a purpose. So it's an idea made real, serving a purpose. So since
Wow, man.
that was the culture is art.
I like what you said. I like what you said. Wow. And would you like to say something? Okay. So something that was pre-intentionally that was created or whatever it was. And this really brings this question to my mind. And if everything is pre-situational, like everything is like kind of following something, is do we really truly have freedom? That's what I wanna. That's where I wanna end it.
Yeah. Yeah, we are coming to an end on this podcast. Let's say our final stuff. You guys want to say?
Yeah. Man, great conversations we had. Great conversation. A special shout out to DC Cuts or Damien. So that's what we call him back at home. We're so close. Yeah, and
Thank you for having me.
Have a good one, brother.
do we really have freedom? Is a great question. And honestly, that really loops back around to our first discussion about trust. Do we really have freedom? If we can't trust each other, how do we really have freedom? If you can't live freely, how can you truly have freedom? That's where I'll leave it right there. And do you have anything to say?
Yeah. As the host, it is my honor to give you. I feel like I give. Um, I feel like I need to give you guys one last question to think about. Think about after this podcast ends. Okay. We can come in closer. Right. Nearing the end of the day. I'm actually giving you unintentional ASMR. Actually, I can tell. But here, I'll be as close as possible. So, anyways, can you guys hear me? I've been pretty drowsy this whole hour. It's been a very fun hour, been a very intriguing hour. But I'll get to the point. I'll get to the question. We had two main conversations today. That just happened, right? Um, I don't know what's gonna happen after we end this podcast. I don't know. All right. Does that mean there's no intention? No? I have intention to make this video, edit it, and upload it. So therefore, it has intention. Okay. This podcast is an art form. Not solely because of it has intention, but also because it serves purpose. It was made for something to educate. Now, if art, how our how we described it, serves purpose, has intention, and what was the other thing that we had? That was a factor of it. Evokes emotion. There we go. Does that mean life is art?
Hey, add the Thorfinn background music.
Listen to me, my son.
Is
You
life
don't have
truly a
enemies.
piece of art?
The truth is that nobody has them.